Hi guys, Adam Mckola, Stephen Howson, Full-Time Devils. We're here in Singapore. Beautiful backdrop behind us. You already know about that because this is where we did our preview. And now we're going to do a little review of the tour so far. Obviously Manchester United, no goals conceded. Plenty of goals scored, 7 goals in fact. Mason Greenwood's got 2 of those. Plenty of academy graduates getting their goals as well. And we're beginning to see a resemblance of kind of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants from his team, at least in terms of the high intensity, the pressing, not letting teams get out from the back with the ball. I noticed that a lot. We keep winning the ball in opposition's half. Steve, let's start with new signings. What have you made of the new signings so far? Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Danny James.
Wan-Bissaka, a future fan favourite. I think there's a bit of development needed with what he does with the ball at his feet. He's not a crosser. He's a guy that gets involved with link-up play, gives and goes, movement, that sort of stuff, and he's been pretty good with that. There's a few instances of that in the game. Tackling, are you mad? Have you ever even seen tackling like that? It's almost ridiculous.
It's like people say, oh yeah, he's great recovery tackles, and then you just see him and you think, yeah, he might not win this one, and he does.
There was a couple of times I timed it. I was saying to the lads sitting next to us, I was like, ready, and bink, there you go. Just you can see what he almost allows you to run off because he knows, like, he must have some unreal level of like flexibility and off the line acceleration, like myself, like ridiculous ability that he's got there. It's almost like a 5-star skill, almost, isn't it? That he's just like, here we go, I'm just going to tackle everything. Very impressed with him, very impressed with him. And I think because of that style of tackling, there's a little bit like Gabby Hines in it sometimes. It lends itself to being a fan favourite. So and obviously I'm pretty glad we found a right back. We
knew what happened to Gabby Hines, so let's not talk about him. Danny James?
Not convinced. No, I'm not convinced.
In?
Anything.
About?
All right, so obviously fittest and quickest. That's always all well and good. Good enthusiasm. But I was noticing he doesn't press until he's told to. He doesn't, like, he's got no initiative, or he doesn't seem to have the initiative, or it might just be being unsure. But when Tony Marshall's telling you to press, there's probably an issue, isn't there? And I noticed that 4 or 5 times. Tony's pressing, which is obviously new to him, and we're seeing another side to him there. I think he's not quite fitting into that number 9 position in this team just yet, but he's on the way. He's on the path, and you can see him start pressing and look and be like, oi!
Giving him the side.
Yeah, the fucking get after it, dickhead. So that I'm like, that's what I thought you were here for, sort of thing. As a team, they're doing it quite well. Dan James not doing it, but on the ball is where I really go, it's too wasteful. I don't mind you being wasteful in the final third when you're trying to make things happen, but it's every time. You've got to have some level of quality. And before everyone starts jumping all over us, I don't think Lingard, Rashford or Marshall had quality today, at least in that first half. All of them were snatching at chances. All of them was a little bit wasteful. All of them was a little bit not quite clicking. Massive contrast to when Mason came on. We had 3 shots in 20 minutes, 21 minutes, something like that. Just the kid's absolutely outrageous, isn't he? And the finish on him is so high level, so high level. He's going to put pressure on him, and I like that.
Well, it's been interesting in terms of the tactics now. Obviously, we know that positions are fluid, so it may start as a 4-2-3-1 sometimes and then change. But we have seen the selection has been a 4-2-3-1 most games.
Yeah,
do you think that will change with new signings? And what do you think about the formation and the tactics that Ollie is applying at the moment in time? Because we're seeing a press, we're seeing us winning the ball back. The likes of Wan-Bissaka is amazing to help us do that. But what do you think about that?
To be honest, I thought we would see a 4-4-2 diamond today. I thought playing against Conte, knowing what they're going to do with the ball, I thought Conte, at least in the first half, before all the changes and everything like that, there was a real tactical performance, what I thought Conte was putting in, which is weird in pre-season, but I guess there's merit to it on some occasions. We're a counter-attacking side. They allowed us to have the ball. That was deliberate. Yeah, we didn't just like take the ball, like, we're having it now. That was deliberate. They let us have the ball. And then they sat deep. But we broke them down. We had like 10 shots, I think, in the first half, something crazy like that. I think 20 shots overall. So it was a dominating performance. It was a performance that you'd be very happy with in a league or a cup scenario. In a excuse me, I think it's been too many late nights here. You'd be very happy with that in a competitive situation. In pre-season, I think you probably want to see a little more, but there was loads of really good aspects that when a team sits, you're going to come up against this. Now, I want to see what United are going to do against the best teams. The teams that are going to go for us and put us under pressure. And I thought that was what we was going to get out of Inter today, and we didn't. We got what Crystal Palace are going to do to us. We got what Fulham or someone's going to do to us. We got one of those sort of performances. And I kind of know what we was going to do there. So the coaches now probably be able to find merit in what we've just seen. But personally, I wanted to see what we would do against one of the top sides. What we did get, because of the way the game went, was we saw what a ball playing centre-half partnership is able to offer. And if you go and watch the game back, what I want you to really look for, and go and contrast this to a game last season, or what maybe Smalling and Jones do when they're in centre-half, they'll pass it between themselves. You didn't see a lot of that from Lindelof and Tuanzebe today. You saw a lot of times Tuanzebe would go to Matic, and you saw a lot of times Lindelof would play it forward, and that obviously that occasion that he's done again now, where he's just decided to go all the way in. That's great, because it forces the midfield to something to do. When you've got one forward sort of running in between two centre-halves, sort of keeping them busy, and they're sort of passing it to each other, it's bollocks. It's bollocks football. And one of the reasons that I like Harry Maguire and what he might offer to United if he comes is that he steps into midfield. And when a defender steps into midfield, they're only being marked by one forward usually. So when he steps into midfield, he creates an overlap, he creates a 2v1 situation. So one of the midfielders who was marking Pogba, who was marking Matic, who was marking McTominay, goes, oh shit, and they have a decision to make. If they stay with a man, Lindelof keeps going, which is what we've seen. But if they step to him, it's the easiest pass in the world. And that's one of the things that if you've got both your centre-halves that can do that, and Tuanzebe can do that, Lindelof can do that, as we've just seen. Harry Maguire does it all day long. That's so effective at moving it forward. Because yes, we're a counter-attacking team, but there's so many times in the course of a 90-minute match where you've just won possession back in your own half, and they're all reset, and there's no quick route to get forward. So you do have to build it up slow. But you've got to be able to mix it up. And I think I was a little disappointed with Matic today. I thought he dwelled on the ball a little bit too much. And I was very impressed with Scott McTominay, who's probably got the opportunity to take his place purely. And
I think he should.
And Fred as well. Because they move the ball fast. Moving that ball fast is what's going to make this Manchester United team tick going forward.
100%. In terms of flaws in the squad now, obviously we've not learned anything from pre-season, or have we? Do you think anyone that maybe before last season is now saying, ooh, or are those flaws still there? We still need to make those key signings, central defence, central midfield. Thoughts on those?
I think you can easily level up. Like, Maguire's the obvious one. But if you didn't get him and you had to play Baye, if he can stay fit, it's not like critical, is it?
It's just that you get every time Baye or Lindelof go down,
yeah,
you just think, oh.
A pair of them made of chocolate. Tuanzebe, you go, okay, can he actually go and do something? Can Tuanzebe make a run at this here? Now, they thought they might be going on loan. I hope he doesn't. I hope he gets to stay here, because one of the most delightful things in that game for me was Axel and Lindelof playing together as a centre-half partnership. Really, when you watch Axel, watch him alone when he's not on the ball. He's directing traffic. He's telling Pogba what to do, which is mint. He's telling Matic what to do, which is mint. There's a potential future captain of the club in there if he can get those 100 games at United in quick, because otherwise you end up as a squad player and it doesn't happen for you. But the characteristics and the mental characteristics that he's got, there's a leader in there, and there's a leader with the club at his heart as well.
100%. I'll let you go because I know you're kind of dying a little bit, but pre-season's been all right, innit? It's been pretty surreal here in Australia, in Singapore. Have you seen anything that leaves you more confident for next season than you were last?
It looks like we're building a team, and even though I'm not impressed necessarily with Dan James, I don't think he starts many games. I think he comes on. That
pace off the bench is always a threat.
I think so, yeah. And I think that is also all he's got in mind on that. He has to field 2 11s still. So I don't think we've quite seen. I think we might have seen 80% of his 11. I don't think we've quite seen the finished thing. Very impressed with Juan Mata when he can play in that 10 role. I think he'd probably be the first choice. Been very impressed with
even ahead of Jesse, who kind of helps with that press.
Depends on the game. I think if you're looking to break a team down, which is 75% of our matches, you'd probably go with Juan. And I think in those bigger games when you're probably like, look, we're not going to out-possess City. So why are we bothering what we're going to do on the ball? We're not going to see a lot of it. And when we get it, you want to move it forward rapid. Jesse's the man for that. that's literally what he does. So he is the new Ji-sung Park. That's the role that the guy fulfills. I still think we probably lack a little quality up front. Lukaku going, and people will be like, he wasn't quality anyway. But the guy scored 27.
You replace him in the squad?
I do, and I think someone like a Ben Yedder would be good. But I can also see the argument being made, like, why waste it? Why not just see what Mason could do? Because what's the worst that could happen?
To bring someone in January.
Yeah. Or you've still got Sanchez, who we haven't seen. Sanchez, if
that even existed.
You've got one space up front, right? If Tony goes down, you play Rashford. If Rashford and Tony have gone down, you could probably get away with playing Jesse in this system because of the way it is, or Mason. If all three of them have gone down, well, do you know what? You lose three goalkeepers. It's what it is, isn't it? Like, you can't. I don't think there's anyone really, apart from City probably, that could sustain 3 injuries to first choice players at the same time. You can't account for everything. You've got to have balance in the squad. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if we went as we were, but I can definitely, if we signed a forward after we've sorted defence out, I'd be like, meh. But I think they've got to get rid of some before they bring some in.
100%, and hopefully we get to see more business, more activity going on. Steve, it's been an absolute epic 10 days. Cheers for helping with that, and let's go see if we can gate crash this Manchester United party, eh?